All right. Good afternoon. It's 3:58. Decided to come on a little bit earlier to get ready for queue us up for some FedEx earnings this afternoon. I believe they are. Let's see when they're actually releasing earnings. I believe it's 4:10 p.m. So we have a bit of time to review the actual stock action, right? The actual price action today. So let me just make sure everything's sharing. You guys see my screen okay? We go to the comments. So yeah, good afternoon on X. We got X here. We got YouTube. We have Twitch even. Everyone live. Welcome to the show for FedEx. So yeah, so I just wanted to bring up the bigger time frames here, the daily. So pretty much we got strong support here that's been bouncing from about 245, range between like 242 to 245. We have some strong support there, and then we have some resistance above that as well. So pretty much our support area for so far, going into earnings is around this 245, and then we have around 242. So this is our major support area that it's been holding since May. Above head, we have a resistance around this level. Top of these candles is around 267. So we have some resistance around 263 to 267 on the, let me go to candlesticks so we see it a bit better. There we go, that's better. And then make sure that we're in, yeah, we're good. So we have some support here that I'm going to be watching. If we lose this support, we could see some downside towards the 230s for FedEx. If we lose, say, 242, I'll be looking at downside play all the way down to this area here where we picked up some buyers around this level here. So I'll be looking at maybe playing to around 230 to the downside. So loss of 242, play it down to 230 on FedEx. Now, if we can pump and start moving above 263, I think we can have a nice move up towards the 270, maybe 280s if the earnings is spectacular, right? So we're looking to see what it brings us. Let me go into the smaller time frames, 3-minute time frames. We're getting a little bit of movement now. Let me go to the 2-minute, even the 1 minute. Let's really see what action we get here, right? So yeah, waiting for that big earning release at 4:10 p.m. Eastern. But that gives us time to plan a trade if it gives us some time. If it plays out, takes a little bit of time to kind of get some movement. We got some, plans in place. So 5-minute chart. Let's look at the hourly chart. It looks pretty good going into earnings just because we got through this. Well, we got resistance around 257 right here. That's yesterday's highs around here. So that also is going to be a resistance point. As you can see, we wicked up still below 257. So that also is a resistance point from yesterday. And then, like I said, we have some room here. We can get back into the upper 260s, maybe the 270s, 280s, if we get really, really, really good earnings. We can go back also to the previous earnings and on the daily, and we can see what it gave us last time around, which was a beat. We got a surprise on the EPS, 11% surprise. Revenue was down by 1%, but that's tiny. So we didn't get no downside movement. We just got a big, huge gap up overnight with that earning release. So last earnings positive. Before that, previous earnings was negative. So we got a mixed bag already. Back in December, the end of the year, 2023, we got a huge gap down. and then the most recent one, gap up. So there's already a mixed bag there, 50-50, move up and down on the last two earnings. And previous to that, we had a little gap up. And previous to that, we also had a nice move up once we reported earnings. So if we go by the last four earnings, more positive than negative, right? So not looking too bad. Hello, everyone in the Discord. Hello. I'm not going to say that name. So yeah, good afternoon, and yeah, tuning into FedEx. Really much just FedEx for today. Already up. We're already up 7% here, guys. That's a big move. That's a huge move that we got. Let's see. Let me bring it up on here. Already seeing a big flow up to, what did we get there? Up to 278. We're already up 8% here, and it's only 405. I'm going to see if there is any earnings out yet, or this is just a pre-move, which is kind of a little bit suspicious here because there's some good volume. Let's have a look at FedEx. Let me search, see if there's any earnings out for FedEx. I do. Actually, they did report earnings. So instead of 410, we got some earnings at 405. So let me just post that on the screen here too. This is earnings that we got from FedEx. Pretty decent earnings. We got EPS of 5.41 on the EPS, beating expectations of $5.37. And then revenue came in at 20, a huge 22.1 billion, beating expectations of 22.05. Now, the big key there, we got double beat on the EPS. We got and on the sales. We also got a guidance uptick as well. So I'm reading here that the guidance that they decided to put out, let me find it. Guidance. Okay, so they see 2025 adjusted EPS $20 to $22 on the EPS. So that's a $2 raise in their guidance for adjusted 2025 EPS. So that's huge, a huge increase in their EPS guidance. So that's also probably why we're getting this big move here in the after hours. Let me get rid of these order blocks so they're out of the way. That's what I like to see. I like to see some big positive earnings, right? I mean, that also could make the market move even higher, basically on good earnings and beating expectations just across the board on companies. It could give a big boost to the overall stock market, and we could see this rally continue that we've been experiencing and it's been fun to trade in. So play was above 263, play into the 270s, maybe the 280s. It was, again, just like last week, it's always hard to jump into trades with earnings about to be released, because that candle, giant candle, there was a 4% candle, which took out our entry and probably our target in the same candle. So that's just insane and hard to trade. So I understand if no one got into that. It's okay. So yeah, let's have a look at earnings whisperers and see what they say here too. All right, earnings whisperers. Let's refresh this page. So you can see here reported 5.41. Surprise, they had a positive surprise, which, it's sometimes hard to beat earnings in this kind of market condition and interest rate being so high and the cost of things being so high. You don't really see, big surprises like this. You may be in line, and then maybe a guidance hike a little bit, but they got everything. They got everything good today. They got it all spot on. and guidance is raised as well. So we see that. Then I wanted to go over. I do check if you ever want to do analysis on stocks, you can go into stockanalysis.com. It's actually free to use. There is a subscription as well, but you can go here to Stock Analysis, type in your tickers, right, and it gives you pretty much everything that you need on one website. And this is what I use when I do the fundamental analysis, and I put the alerts out in the Discord, and even on socials. I definitely go through this website to look at financials, forecasts, dividends, things like that you want to check in a company's great website, and also news, right? You can check all the news is in one place as well. So that's ideal, right? Instead of flipping back and forth from different websites, you just get it all in one. So you can see financials. Let's go to financials, have a look what's going on there. We go quarterly. We can also bring up this little chart here, and you can see it's been pretty steady, upticking from 2020. Pull back a little bit, but it's on the rise a little bit now. We're seeing like a little break higher, especially in the recent earnings that just released. So at 22 billion, so it's obviously going to bring a little higher in the next quarter now on this chart. So things are moving better in their direction. Big thing that I look for also is the net income. They're real successful, net income positive, over 800 million on the quarterly. Let's see, annually they bring in a solid 3.9 billion. Like, this is and you can see by the growth in this stock too. I mean, 2019 we were sitting at 500 million on the net income. We over 138% went higher in 2020, 300% in 2021. Of course, the market boomed here, so we can expect to see outrageous numbers like this. Pull back a little bit, and then we're on the uptick again on the net income this past year. So things are solid for this company. Balance sheet, I'm sure, is also solid. 6.8 billion cash and equivalents. Cash growth just a little bit down, but the assets to liability also is decent too. So everything marks like this stock as being a quality stock in my book for maybe a long-term position. Obviously, don't buy it now, but maybe buy it on some pullbacks, on retests of support levels, and then maybe grab a position there. Maybe at these levels here that I put, 167, 267, 263. And then 257, obviously, if we retrace all the way back. But right now, we're just churning along. I always like to bring great earning report. I hate to talk about negative stuff. So love to see this. Yeah, get the resources. They're all free. Like, I'm just sharing them with you right now, even on socials, guys. Stock Analysis, great website. And it's going to give you a lot of resources in one place instead of going back and forth. I know how long chart analysis can take, and also fundamental analysis. Finding it all in one place is great. And also you can get to filings as well in this area. You can look at filings. You can look at forecasts, what analysts say, dividends. If they pay a dividend, 2.15% dividend. So they pay a decent, it's 2%, right? It's a big stock. But it's a good $5 plus per year. And they're about, well, it just happened actually. So you missed the boat on this previous dividend payout. Just happened. A couple of days ago, you had to get into this stock on the 23rd. So just missed this one, but they're also growing on their dividend growth. So they're increasing dividends year over year. So that's strong. And the growth over 3 years, it's been increasing. So it's been solid. This company is solid, very solid. We're up to 293 now. Look at this baby go. 295. Whew. We're going to see 300. Going once, going twice. I don't even think we're going to get a pullback. It says screw the pullback. We're going to go 300. That is bullish. Whew. Let's look at the weekly chart here. Let's see what we got up here. Pull that back. Oh, let's see. All-time high is up here. All-time high, 318. Yeah, 318, man. We're not far off all-time high. We're taking out these recent highs in 2023 and March 2024. So we're already taking out this year's high on this earnings. That shows you how significant that move was on the bigger time frames. And the all-time high is up here at about 318 and change. So, man, this thing can rip and maybe make it all-time high in the next couple of days or weeks. Huge beat, guys. Now, as this is very positive, I'm not going to be on the stream too long, but we are going to talk about what's coming up with earnings. Let's see what's coming up in the next couple of days. I know that we're going to be live doing earnings, I believe. Let's have a look. Calendar. See what tomorrow brings. MU, that's one that we're going to be live doing the earnings for, going over earnings live tomorrow. So this is at 4:05 p.m. Huge earnings report for MU Micron Technology. This one has been on a rampage, just like NVIDIA, and also, all the semiconductor sector has been just ripping, and this one has just been non-stop. So this is going to be a very nice one to pay close attention to and see overall if the sector decides to keep on going higher on good earnings, or we get a bigger pullback. But this has been on a rip since the last earnings. And that is Micron. That's MU. So we know FedEx is a beat already. MU. Let me see what happened with MU. Okay, so this is the last earnings here. If we're going to kind of go back on the last earnings, MU, we saw a big gap up here. We saw it retrace, and this is when you don't want to FOMO in, right? You're like, okay, I want to FOMO in. I don't want to miss the next big move. Well, you know what? You have to be a little patient, especially when you open up like a big, what are we there? 96 to 113. So that's a huge near on $20 move right there that it opened up the next day. So it's not ideal to jump right into a trade like that. But if you're very patient, we got a nice retest of this gap right here, at least the top of the gap. What was that, like 2-3 weeks later after earnings? We got a nice bounce right here, and this would have been an ideal opportunity if you stay patient, just watching the chart for this level to be retested again. That on the retest and then seeing the buyers step in would have been a beautiful entry to play the next leg up. Now, if we fell down there, we probably would have filled this gap, right? And pulled back down to probably like $100 and filled that gap. But no. We bounced right on that line, the top of this gap. So, always be patient on earnings as well. Don't try to FOMO in the next day and then you're already down when it pulls back a little bit. Just wait for it to play out a couple of days, get that pullback to maybe the top of the gap area or a strong support, and then buy in on that reversal from that level. And don't just FOMO into a trade, expecting to see a lot more upside if it's gapped up $20 overnight on earnings, like MU, Micron. So they do announce earnings tomorrow. Jay, the other accent guy, as Farouk wants to say, is going to be doing the earnings for MU. It's his baby. He loves to trade MU, and he's going to be here tomorrow doing MU's earnings, seeing what potential we can play with that earnings and the reaction to the earnings. So we're going to see MU tomorrow with PB right on X and also on the other socials. And then what else do we have coming up tomorrow? Any other ones? BlackBerry got beaten down. down to like pretty much close to all-time lows, I feel like, right? There's no love for BlackBerry whatsoever. Let's see weekly chart if it will show me. Yeah, like look at this. Like BlackBerry is getting beaten down to levels that it hasn't seen in 5-6 years. So screw the whole meme action that it used to have. It's got no love since that meme action. Here, maybe some roaring kitty needs to come on here and give it some love. But BlackBerry also has earnings tomorrow, which I don't think it's a bad play. Let's have a look at this. I always like to prepare for earnings the day before, a couple of days before. There's some big block institutional buying down here, support level around what we got here. Around this level, pretty much where it's at. If we go off here, this level here, and then like we've seen as low as back in 2002, it come down to $1.39, and then we've seen it. What else we got here? Let's see. We got this level here around 176. So these are the levels that I'll be paying close attention to if we do get bad earnings from BlackBerry tomorrow. I'd be looking at the 275, 276 range, and then all the way down to 140. I mean, if it's ugly, we could pick some cheap shares up maybe at 140. You know, even if it's like a slow trickle down to that support and it just loses all the other support along the way, and then we get a little retest and then play, see some higher lows, and then kind of take a position there. We could maybe something like this will play out where we get near on all-time lows based on earnings, like maybe bad earnings, and then we can pick some cheap shares up and snipe the bottom there once we see some buying action, and then play this up and sail into the sunset with some good profits. But I'd be looking at those levels. Now, if it's positive, then I'd be looking at, let's have a look. It's going to be very tight area to be buying in, but I would say about probably above 240. So there's some levels there above 240. Then I would play it up to probably 270, 290 range. That's where I would play it to. Maybe even go higher if the earnings are good. Maybe into the threes again. Pretty solid resistance around 330. Around this level here. So we could definitely play it. Like we can, you know, if you like BlackBerry, that's not bad. They definitely surprised on the last couple of earnings here. Pretty big surprises too. 177%, 127, 38%. Like these are big surprises, but it's like that net income positive still lingering in that negative range for some time now. Let's see on the yearly. Yeah, so it's come back up to better range the last year over 2022. So it's looking better. But if they can give us some guidance, and maybe I know that they were doing some restructuring internally and they were, you know, cutting some positions. If they can show us good guidance and what they've been working on and how it's been working, and it's been working positively, then I think we get a boost in this stock price back towards the $3 range. Absolutely. Now, if they haven't completed any of their restructuring goals and they haven't got anywhere, then I think we can slowly die off until we see maybe the 140 range. And then you know, as long as we hold there, I pick some up there. I try it. I pick up those crumbs from the bottom of the ocean and try some of that. As long as we hold the 140 range, I'd take that. Who wouldn't take that? Come on. The only reason why BlackBerry is still around is it's not the phones. We all know it's not the phones, right? So it's because of their cloud and their enterprise business that they have, partnerships, things like that they have going on for them. That's you know, changed their business model. So it's not about phones anymore, because those phones are ancient. I don't want to be typing in no damn letter for letter on the phone anymore. So yeah, so I think that there could be potential here, and I'm gonna call it above 240. I play it to the upside. As long as we get above 240 and hold 240, I play this baby to 3. And then if we lose 213, then we're going back into the ones. And that's where you can either short it down or you can just be patient and wait to pick up those crumbs at the bottom. Wonder if we have like a little boat or something we can find. What we got here? It's a swan. What do we got? We got like a little duck or something, like, you know, MetaMat. We can put MetaMat duck in this little picture. No, we don't. We don't have any MetaMat, but I'll be here. This is the ocean, at the bottom of the ocean, waiting. Can't make this smaller. I wish I could. There we go. Thank you so much. Trade and view. That's the bottom of the ocean right there, and I'll be there waiting to pick up those crumbs if we get there. So there's my illustration. FedEx. What's going on with FedEx? Let me get. So BlackBerry. We do earnings tomorrow, guys. So I don't know if Jay's going to be going over this, but you already got my predictions here above a certain level or below a certain level. 213, drop of 213, we see lower. Above 240, we see higher. And once you're in profit, don't give it back, guys. Let's make some money, and let's not just be in the profit and then just let it die off. Like, protect your profit, trim it, put stop in place, whatever you need to do, but don't go negative once you're positive. I know if I could find a duck, I would find a duck here, but I can't even type it in. Let me look at animals, mystical animals. Mystical animals. We have a swan. I don't see a duck. But that will be me. There's me. There's a shark. There's a shark at the bottom of the ocean, just eating that food that's left over. That just fell down there. So that's me. Okay, so FedEx. So that's tomorrow, guys. BlackBerry and MU. MU is the big one. And Levi, we have a few other ones to look at. Levi normally has some good reaction. I would love to see a pullback in Levi. Grab those shares when they were like 12, 13 bucks. And they're up to like over 20 bucks now. So I did buy a position a long time ago, last year, range, like in this range here. And I'm surprised it's been just going up. But a lot of retail's been going higher, right? I mean, we can all bring it up now, like Abercrombie and Fitch. This stock has been ripping like this nonstop, and it does not make sense. But it's been ripping from, like, I remember this was $12, $13. I remember this back here, like super cheap in this level here. It's like $13, $14. And look at us now. We nearly touched 200. So a lot of these retail stocks have been just going higher. Gap, American Eagle, all of these stocks have been moving up higher for the past 12 months to 18 months. So they've been decent, very decent returns on that. Gap as well. Really nice moves to the upside. So Levi may continue tomorrow. So we see how that one goes. And then we are with you on Thursday for, I think the Swinging Ball is going to be coming on with Nike, because he's going to wear his Jordans to the stream. Maybe his basketball shirt, we'll see. But he's going to be here going over Nike with earnings there. And I'm actually excited about Nike. I think we can see, some nice moves up here. This is ready. I think it's been coiling for some time. It's just been kind of sitting in this range from 80s to 90s. I think it's time. to rip this baby back over 100. So Nike is coming to us on Thursday. Let's look at Nike. Yeah, Nike is just there waiting. It's waiting. It's patiently waiting for earnings to rip this baby higher. If it doesn't, then this thing is going to go way back into the low 80s, probably, maybe lower. We can only hope for our long-term investors we go lower to like the 60s, and I buy that with my eyes closed. Okay, so FedEx. So that's coming to you this week. We're going to be doing all those earnings this week. So make sure that you are subscribed and following our channel so that you get those alerts when we go live. Okay, so we are topping out so far around 298. Right there, 298. Nearly 299. We're getting close to 300, but that's a nice, decent move. 15% on earnings is nice. That's solid. I'd be happy with that. Be happy with that. Wouldn't you guys be happy with that? I think so. If you're not happy with that, you look greedy. So all right, positive beat, guys. I'm gonna let this just play out for the rest of the evening, see what it does. But we got some support. If we retest maybe 291, look for some hold there. If it holds there at 291, then you may be able to get a nice little push back to the top of this range to 290, 298, 299 again. So look for a retest. We got this big move. Obviously, now we're just kind of going sideways in this little channel. So look for something like this to play out. Retest here. If we get some buys, step in and hold this level. You can grab a position and play it towards the top of this range again. Just like I said, this is not financial advice. This is something that I would just trade myself if we hold this level and play it off that support to the top of this range. And then I would obviously take my profit along the way and make sure I'm protected. But that is it. FedEx, good earnings. We see how it works out tomorrow morning as well in pre-market and into market open. Hopefully it gives us a good setup to play when we're in open market. And yeah, it's about it. I did put the link at the bottom of the stream. So if you're on any socials, you want to join us, we teach all these strategies in the Discord. It is discord.gg.pennyboys. That is our link to our Discord. If you want to join, we have a free section. You get free alerts there, free education before you jump it up and upgrade to the premium community. So I'm going to wrap this up. Hope you guys have a good rest of your evening and have a lovely dinner with your family. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.